Hello and welcome back to My Own Worst Enemy. In the I'm always late to know department, global war has arrived. Why do I say always late? Because I didn't know that Kaiserkrieg was coming out from Ben Madison, and I certainly didn't know this was in the works. I was surprised when I saw it for sale at White Dog Games, and I jumped all over it because it is by R. Ben Madison, and I suspect maybe Wes Ernie. I don't see his name on here, but we'll find out when we dig inside. Yeah, so new I haven't taken the shrink off. I normally like to do that, but I haven't, so let's do that real quick. Yeah, this is World War II Solitaire, and it claims that you can play a game in, I think it said 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours, playable in 1 3-hour setting. So in 3 hours, you can play the entirety of World War II Solitaire, of course. So we're going to crack into this thing and just go ahead and take a look at it. I have put that up there. I do have Kaiserkrieg, and I did a playthrough earlier on the channel, so you can go back and take a look at that. It wasn't a complete playthrough. It was a few turns of that, so you at least get a feel for how it played and decide whether or not you want to order it. This one, I will probably do the same thing. Maybe I'll play the entire game. I don't really know. We will certainly get it to the table. So typical White Dog Games, Blue Panther material here. And the rule book is just what the Kaiserkrieg rule book looked like. It's nice paper, sort of a matte finish, sort of glossy, but not really super glossy. Great large print, so it's easy to read. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot in here rules-wise, which is good. This, I'm assuming, might follow up. This is a follow-up to Kaiserkrieg that perhaps the rules are similar, but maybe there's some differences. Usually there are with Ben Madison games. There's usually some tweaks and some new things that are added into this. And there's some designer's notes back here. Designer note credits, these are found on the back of the counter tray. Counter tray? That's going to be interesting. Let's see if that's in there. So that's the rule book. This is the Evening Telegraph, which is probably an event. Let's see if I can get this out of here. And as I say counter tray, I realize in Ben Madison games, that doesn't really mean like a counter tray like from GMT counter tray where you put counters in. It's like this piece of paper that you hold the counters on. Not really a counter tray as we would think of a counter tray, more like a counter holder. There's the designer notes. So we've looked at that, get that out of the way, and we'll go back to this Evening Telegraph, which is looks like the random events there. And one of the things I love about Ben Madison Wes Ernie games are the random events. And I said, Wes Ernie, I'm going to see if he's listed in the credits here. If I can find the credits here, maybe I can't. Well, there you go down at the bottom. It mentions Absolute Victory, which I also own, by R. Ben Madison and Wes Ernie. Well, it doesn't say this is also by Wes Ernie. And I'm just checking. I can't imagine it's not. But maybe Ben will drop us a note. Maybe Wes will drop by and say something. Here we go. Credits. There you go, Wes Ernie. All right, so all is right with the world. So Ben and Wes did, in fact, design and develop the game. I say design, but I probably should be a little more cautious than that even. Let's go back one last time. So it was designed by R. Ben Madison. Wes looks like he was involved in development, playtesting, and proofreading. He was also the chief developer. So there you go. This is the Global War setup card. So this will tell us where the counters go on the map, how we will start, and game setup. This is if you start in a later year. This is the 1943 scenario. This is the full campaign scenario. So that is neat. If you want to play an abbreviated game, you can certainly do that. This is the counter sheet. Again, it's Blue Panther counter sheet. So you know you're going to get nice counters. I will let you take a look at those. Nice, colorful print. The very thick cardboard, brown cardboard, heavy cardboard from Blue Panther that we love. And here's the back to those counters. Very nice indeed. So those are going to look good on the map. And let's look at the map. And it is not a standard size map, or what we would think of as a standard size game map. Let me get this stuff out of the way so we can look at the map. And in the past, I have complained about some of these maps from Ben Madison, but this one looks good. I like it. I like the background, the world map on the back there, and then you have your areas. It's probably a little like a States of Siege game, like I'm seeing some familiarities with Kaiser Krieg, so it does look like it's the same type of thing going on. We'll find out because I'm going to play this and we're going to get into it. Here's some morale charts up here. It looks like there's going to be U-boats. We have both theaters represented. We have, there's Midway, there's Hawaii, and the Pacific, of course. And there's Europe, as we would expect to find it. Military events display. So as things happen, you're going to mark up here what's in effect. And then your calendar, your turn track, with some other events that are listed on that as well. So I wanted to crack into this thing real fast and just show you what's in it. And let's go ahead and get this thing set up, and we're going to play it at least a turn or two or three to see how it plays. All right, so let's go ahead and set this thing up now. Let's go ahead and I'm going to punch out these counters. We will put those on the map. So let me punch these out real quick, and then we'll come right back. Okay, now let's go through setup of Global War. And I will say one of the things that, one of my nitpicks with this game, and actually Kaiser Krieg too, is the setup and learning how to set this thing up and what the chits are. So you do have what is called the counter tray here, and the rule book tells you, and I'll grab the rule book, I won't show you, but the rule book does tell you to use this counter tray first. Take all your counters, punch them, put them on the counter tray, not up here at the top, but here in the white boxes below. The tray at the top here, or at least the area at the top in gray, you'll actually use during the game. So you will use this counter tray not only for setup, but you'll also use it in the game. This is where your armies will come from. But the game does tell you, punch the counters and place them in these boxes, and it tells you what chits go where. And it actually tells you, be very careful when you read this. This is the nitpick, because it will tell you very carefully, and I'm going to see if I can find one here that kind of caught me. And really, it's paying attention, paying close attention. So it would be somewhere like, and I think the Germans, no, that's the Italians, the German forces, or maybe it was the French force. Yeah, okay, so look like the Imperial Japanese here, where it talks about the Imperial Japanese Navy. It says Japanese ships 14. So you would think you can just grab 14 chits and put them in the box, but you've got to be careful because it says at the bottom, including Yamato, a zero counter, and all red, white, meatball Japanese units. Now, the meatball Japanese units are the ships. They're the little chits that have the Japanese symbol on it. So if I can show you that. So that would be the Japanese meatball. I know that sounds minor, but it really can throw you off. There's some other examples in here that you look at, like your pro-UN miners here. There'll be two listed side by side, which you just kind of have to pay attention to. So I know that's minor, but believe me, when you're trying to find these counters and put them on this chit marker board, it's going to be a little confusing. And to make matters worse, there are some chits that have information on the back that are not what's on the front. And an example is, I couldn't find the French convoy when I first started setting this game up. And I'm going to show you the French convoy marker. There it is. And if you look at the back, it says U-boats. So why is that a problem? Well, I had set up all the U-boats here, and you can see them off to the side here. This is the game counters that are currently not in the game. I've already set the game up. We're going to go through that. So it says German Navy, 4 U-boats. So I had 4 U-boats stacked in there, and I had the surface raiders in there as well. Well, when it came time to actually set the game up, and down here you can see it says available convoys. There's a British one and a French one. I couldn't find the French one. And it turned out it was because it was on the back side of the U-boat counter, and I had no way of knowing that. So pay attention to the back sides of these counters whenever you're setting this up, trying to fill out this counter tray, or you're trying to put something on the map. Be aware that the back of a counter, like that French convoy unit, was on the back of a U-boat counter. That's a little frustrating to me. Just keep that in mind. It's a minor nitpick with this game. Kaiser Krieg had the same sort of thing. You can overcome it, but it takes a little bit of work between reading the rule book and reading what's on here and actually paying attention to those counters. But that's why I'm going to do this video. I'm going to show you what I'm pretty sure is the proper setup for this game. And immediately I'm going to point out that, so the counters you start with are on the map right now. So this is set up the game and you're getting ready to start pulling chits and playing the game. You'll notice over here there are chits that aren't in the game. Now some of these are because they will come into the game as you progress in your turns. There's some other ones though that you won't even use in the game as it is right now. And if you look on the back of the rule book, it says Advanced Rules 14.5. A package of more advanced and optional rules, including rules for Nimitz, Spain, Vichy France, will be put up for free for download at White Dog Games. So I don't think even all these counters will be used in the game. So be aware that there are some counters over here that you probably will not use. So with that said, I'm going to walk you through setup so that if you're struggling to try to figure out where some of these counters go, maybe this will help you. So let's start. I'm going to grab the campaign scenario because that's what I want to play through, the Grand Campaign, 1939 start. And so it says the first thing to do is to take your turn chits, and you're going to take, there's 3 chits that are green, and the other chits, let's see if I can grab the chit cup here. The other chits are these tan colored chits, so they all look like that, except for these 3 green. And there's also 2 special events over here. There's Pearl Harbor and Barbarossa. Those look like regular chits. They have actions that you will take, but you're going to hold those to the side because they will come into play. They'll be directed when to come into play. So take your 3 green chits, you're going to put them off to the side, and when you start the game, you'll flip these over like this. And again, you can see that there's information on the backs of those counters, which probably get used in the game. I don't know, but be aware that they're back there. So you'll basically just randomize these and you'll put them face down in the first 3 turns of the track. And that's what you'll pull for the first 3 turns. So it kind of will direct your initial gameplay. So that's where those go. Just set them off to the side. Take your Pearl Harbor and your Barbarossa, set those aside, and then put your other 23, and I'll make sure it's 23, yeah, your other 23 chits go into the cup, and you will draw those randomly. So that's the turn chits. Now the army setups, it says in the reserve boxes at the top of the counter tray, place the following forces. So that's over here, and it's just as it says, you put your front reserves A, so that's the Western Front reserves. I'll let you take a look at that. It says all German airplanes, and it actually calls them out. So let's look at those counters. I'm going to pull those up so you can see it. So these are the German airplanes, and it's by the aircraft type on there. So there are 4 of those, and those go into that front A box up here. And then it says Goring goes next to it, and then you'll put a Blitz marker with that. So this is kind of like in Kaiserkrieg where these armies are going to come off of these reserves. And just reading down, so you have your front, your A through F, and it tells you specifically what goes in there. So here's your, let me see, I'm going to zoom us in here a little closer. All right, yeah, back to the zoom camera. So you can see that there's the Eastern Front Reserves B, and it tells you to put these specific armies in there. So I'm going to break those open so we can see it all together. And so that's pretty clear. There's the North, the Center, and the South German armies, and a Blitz marker goes in there. Your Mediterranean Front Reserves, there's an Italian marker it tells you to put in there. This is your China Theater Reserves. You can see exactly what goes in there. Your Southeast Asia Theater Reserves, you can see exactly what goes in there. And here's your South Pacific Theater Reserves. Again, the Japanese armies and the Blitz marker that go into there. So I just wanted you to see exactly what those counters are so you can make sure you're getting that right. And now let's zoom back out. Here we are zoomed back out. So now that's the reserve boxes. So you know how those go, how those are set up now. Now on the map, it tells you to place. And again, sort your counters before, have them set aside somewhere so you know where to find these counters. It makes it 100 times easier. So if you look at the map, there's going to be front boxes. So there's an A, B, C, let's see, A, B, C, D, E, F. And in the rule book, I read that it states that these specific areas are actually theaters, but the rule book calls them fronts just for clarity's sake. So there's 6 fronts, and I just pointed them out. So it's the same thing you just did over here, but now you're going to put them on the map directly. So front, the Western Front A box, and note the correlation here between these boxes. So in this Western Front box, you're going to put your Polish, your Danish, your Dutch, and your French armies. And it actually tells you to put the Poland on top. I've just got them scattered out here, so I know that what order they should be in. And I'm not sure order matters because I know that when you're pulling armies, you're going to pull the strongest. So I'm not sure if maybe that does matter in here because it does call out the fact that you put Poland on top. So be aware of your stacking here when you do set this up. And so just follow along. Go to box B, says place Berlin and no other units. And on the back of that Berlin counter, there is a Hitler marker. So again, be aware of what's on the back sides of these things. Your Mediterranean front, it says place the Italy neutral. And this is the Italy neutral, the CCNN marker, capital marker, and then 2 Italian armies, the COL and 10th. And then the Malta besieged marker will go here, but it'll tell us that in just a second. So that's C, and then in D, you can see the Japanese armies that I have placed here. Southeast Asia Theater, there's only a Japan neutral marker. And in the South Pacific, there's the Tokyo marker, and then the other Japan neutral marker. Japan neutral marker E is here, and F is over here, just as it states. Then it says, step 3 says, all 11 city tiles go in the blue sky up in the high morale box. So those are the 11 city markers that you punched out, and they go into your high morale box up here. And then it says place 2 partisans, not the ones on the green turn tiles. Remember, there were partisans under here. Again, be aware of what's on the opposite side of the counters. So place the 2 partisans markers, and the partisans box is up here. And that's another minor little quibble, is it's really hard to find some of these boxes sometimes. So there's the 2 partisan markers in the partisan box. And it says place the Malta marker, and we did that already over here, or I pointed it out already, I should say. The Malta besieged side face up over here in the Mediterranean front. So it's there. And then 4, on the Omnibus Tracker, put the dollars tile. That's this one. I'll let you take a look at that so you can, it's pretty self-explanatory though. So the dollar tile goes in 8. The cannon meat Soviet marker goes right above that. Yep, so that goes on 8. And then US aid to China and the US aid to China goes in box 5, so that's here. Naval actions, that goes into the 0 box. That is there with the Manhattan Project, which also is in the 0 box. All right, step 5, Japanese ships, Akagi, Zuikaku, and Hiryu start in Midway. So Midway is over here, and there's the 3 carriers that we just mentioned. The Congo, the Zuyo, and the Zero start in the Philippine Sea, which is down here. And I don't think I put, we got the Congo, we've got the, does it say? I thought it said Zuyo. I'm going to make sure it does say Zuyo. And I'm having a hard time reading these counters. And there's another nitpick. These counters, I wish were a little larger print. So yeah, that is the Zuyo. And I didn't put the zeros out there. So let me find those real quick. Looks like I put them in the Kore box up here. So let's bring that down. Because that should be in the Philippine Sea. All right, so yeah, be careful when you're setting up because things like that can happen. And then Tanaka's destroyers and the Ioba go into the Coral Sea, which is down here. So there's the Ioba, there's Tanaka's destroyers there in Coral Sea. Yamato stays on the counter tray. So again, be aware that some counters will stay over here that will come into the game. Some are not going to be used at all. And it says place the rest of the Japanese ships into the Kore naval base, which is up here, which you saw me pull the zeros out of, with their red dot sides up. Well, they are. We're good there. And this says place the British flag convoy tile and the French convoy in the available convoy markers. That's down here. And like I said, I drove myself nuts trying to find that French convoy, so don't do that. Be aware, I'm going to hammer it home again, be aware of what's on the back side of the counters. So they're both down here in available convoys. Then it says the 2 U.S. flag convoys stay on the counter tray. So again, we've got 2 U.S. convoys over here, which will stay in the counter tray until they're needed. And then it says the German Raider Graf Spree goes in the U-boats box. So that's over here. And I'll let you see the German Raider Graf Spree. And we'll put that down here in the German U-boats. That's where that will go. And then 6, place the Stalin and Chamberlain leader tiles in the Allied leadership box on the map. Your Allied leadership pool is over here. So we have Stalin and we have Chamberlain, and Winnie's on the back of Chamberlain, just so you know. Place the Roosevelt leader tile in the 5 box of the Omnibus Track. So he's up here with the aid to China. So there's Roosevelt. Roosevelt, and it's probably hard to see that, so let me let you see Roosevelt. So there he is, and he's going to be on 5. Then it says place the Ruhrgebiet, and I'm going to maul some of these names, so you can correct me down below, but I'm going to mispronounce some of these things. So Ruhrgebiet economic tile in the empty box located over Germany. Look over Germany. Here's the Ruhrgebiet, and you'll note here that there is a white tile with nothing in it. That's what they're referring to. And here's that tile. So that's going to go into there. And the Osaka Nagoya economic tile will go over here. So this is in the, where Japan is, another white box, empty box. That's what that tile looks like. That will go there. All right, and then number 7 says place 3 Lend-Lease tiles in the U.S. East Coast. And I put those over here. I'm assuming this is the, yeah, this is the right box. So the Convoys, Lend-Lease tiles, U.S. East Coast marker is here on the map, and here's what those Lend-Lease units look like. They don't say Lend-Lease. Again, you kind of have to deduce that just from reading, but that's what those are. We have all those over there. And again, it states here, and I haven't really read through the rule book in any great detail yet. I will when I finish this video and start playing this game. But it says to place the Jeeps and trucks face up. Now, I don't know. Let's see if there's something on the back of that. There probably is. There is. And that's probably why they tell you to turn that face up, because there is an aid to Russia on the back side of that. These counters are pulling double duty. Be very careful about that. So we put the Jeep side face up. And then it says place the Soviet policy tile in the neutral compartment of the Soviet policy box. The Soviet policy box is here. Here's the policy tile, and there it is in the neutral box. And I'm going to let you see the neutral tile because there's some glare. That's the neutral tile. I mean the policy tile. And that goes into the neutral box. Do that. Then it says place all 15 named U.S. carrier chits in the carrier cup. So I've got a carrier cup here. I've also got my turn chit cup here. One has the My Own Worst Enemy logo. That's the carriers. The other is just an easy dice roller. That's the turns. So I'll let you see a carrier. We'll just randomly pull one, as we will do in game. So there is a carrier. That's what they look like. So all 15 of those are going to go into a randomizer cup. So I did that. Then number 9, the final step, place the Burma Road open tile in the Burma Road box. So the Burma Road box is over here next to the Southeast Asia Theater. And there you can see the Burma Road marker, or the box. Here's the marker. So it's open and closed, and we'll put that in the Burma Road, show that it is open. Put the SIN Army into, where did that go? Xinjiang, it says. Xinjiang, and I'm probably mauling that name too. That's over here. So Xinjiang, and there's a marker that goes there. So there's a pro-UN side, or a pro-USSR side, I should say, and then a pro-Japanese side. But you're going to place it on its pro-Russia side first. So again, we'll put that in its box. And what else? Then it says place the Finnish SF Army inactive side. And okay, so the Finnish Army, that was up here. And it's going to go into the Finland box. So here's that marker on its inactive side. That's going to go in Finland. And that is the, oh God, the Veli Raha. I'm probably butchering that name, but the Veli Raha side up is what that marker should be. So again, I'll let you see the Veli Raha text there. I don't speak Finnish, obviously. Okay, and then place the U.S. Marines and Admiral Spruance in Hawaii. So Hawaii is over here. Here's the Hawaii box. There's Mr. Spruance, or I should say Admiral Spruance, and then there's the U.S. Marine Corps right there. So that's Hawaii. And then Belgian Congo box, we're going to place the Belgian Colonial Administration tile. So the Belgian Congo box is down here. Here's the Belgian Congo. No shock that it's located there. And then here's that marker they want you to put down. So we'll put that in there. And again, there's a, on the back side of that, there's a, looks like a German marker of some kind, or maybe just a regular Belgian marker. So let's put that down there. And in the South Africa box, we're going to put a South Africa tile with its pro-UN smut sign up. So there's the South Africa box where you would expect it to be. And there is the pro-UN. And then on the back of that is, it looks like a neutral box, or a neutral counter, I should say. So that goes there. And that's it. It says the game is now set up and ready to play. There you go. I just wanted to go through this setup real quick with you to show you that there are some concerns and some considerations to make while you're trying to find all of your tiles. And for me, it was a little frustrating. I felt like I had lost some tiles until I realized there were things printed on the back. You do have units over here that will come into the game. There's an Otto Skorzeny card here for the Germans. There's a Panzer unit that will come into the game. The U.S. Convoys. Some military events, and I think this military event will probably be put out on the events display as we start playing. The Vichy French units, which sounds like these will not be used in the game, but we will use them if they post those advanced optional rules. That would be kind of neat. I'd love to see that. There are the strategy markers are down here. You have some miners, some pro-Axis miners are down here, and some more political leaders up here. You have Gandhi and Rick's Place. Yeah, you have from Casablanca, Humphrey Bogart, Rick's Place. Now, I read in the rule book that that picture is not of Humphrey Bogart, but that is in fact Ben Madison there, and I think the proprietor of Rick's Place. I don't know. I'm suspecting. I can't tell. I can't tell which is which. That's a hard counter to see. So one of those is Ben Madison. If I had to guess, I'd say the guy on the left. Ben, let us know if that's right. Okay, so that's your leader units there, and that is it. We should be set up and ready to go. Now, what I'm going to do, I wanted to post this unboxing and the setup just to show you what the game looks like and give you some assistance in trying to set this thing up. And now I'm going to spend some time going through a couple of turns and learning the game, and then when I come back, we will play Global Wars. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, so you will get notification when I play through Global War. You can see how it plays. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you back here next time.